Hello everyone, and welcome to our July webinar. Today we would like to talk about the aspect of risk management. We have three speakers with us today. Kerstin Leifeld, who will talk about the high financial impact hotel bookings for large conferences can have, and will highlight some case studies from 2020 and 2021. Jörg Kleffmann, who will speak about how Hilton, as a large international hotel chain, dealt with the risks in the pandemic, and Angela Lubimova, who will speak to us about how EXPOFORUM International dealt with the risks of the pandemic, and will also show us some of their best practice cases. If you have any questions along the way, we are here at the end for a hopefully interesting panel discussion. And you can leave any questions or comments in the chat box directly here on the platform. So we will first of all start with Kerstin Leifeld. Kerstin is Account Director and Head of Division for Conference Accommodation at KIT Group. She started her career in the hospitality industry in Germany before moving to the United States, working for major hotel chains and also large accommodation booking companies. She's been with KIT Group since 2004, since returning back to Germany, and is an experienced account director and, as I mentioned, head of the division for conference accommodation. And we're very eager to see how Kerstin and her team dealt with the quite extreme financial impact this pandemic has had on large conferences, especially from a hotel perspective. So, Kerstin.
Hi, my name is Kerstin Leifeld. I'm Account Director and Head of Division Conference Accommodation at KIT Group. Today, I would like to talk to you about risk management for hotel accommodation. Hotel accommodation is an area that is sometimes overlooked by some clients. Usually a PCO or housing company is chosen to handle accommodation for a congress. But once that decision has been made, clients do not really get involved anymore. This is usually fine and not a problem as long as things go smoothly. However, when we have a situation such as the current COVID pandemic, hotel accommodation is a large financial risk for all parties involved: clients, PCOs, participants, and hotels. To give you a quick overview, PCOs often have full financial responsibility as they are signing hotel contracts at their own risk. After a certain date, it is not possible to cancel hotel rooms free of charge anymore. Cancellation fees will apply. At most times, a prepayment of 80 to 100% of the full value of a reservation is due to the hotels, so that the deposit the participants have paid to the PCO will then be in the hotel's hands. Of course, larger meetings do require a larger room block, and thus the financial impact can be quite high. For example, for a 3-day congress with 5,000 participants, and an average room rate of 200 euros per night, we are looking at a room block value of 3 million euros. This is a sizable financial risk and responsibility for even a mid-sized congress. Due to the corona pandemic, where face-to-face meetings were not possible anymore, hotel accommodation all of a sudden became obsolete, and the clients and PCOs needed to ask themselves how to react to this situation. Here, it is important for clients and PCOs to work closely together to find the right solution, as there are certainly various options, such as the following: downsize and go hybrid. Try to adjust the face-to-face portion of your meeting to the allowed restrictions. Find a location that works for a meeting this size and combine this with virtual components. Postpone and transfer deposit payments. Work with the destination to postpone the event and to find a replacement date, and also talk about the possibility to transfer some deposit payments to the next year if a refund is not possible for certain reasons. negotiate refunds. Remember that you always have participants in the background who are expecting a refund of their deposit payments, so receiving one in order to appease your participants should be your top priority. Allow for installments for hotels with less liquidity. Don't forget to consider the financial situations the hotels are in and help them by allowing installments for deposit refunds wherever possible. Following, I would like to present you with solutions that we at KIT Group have found with two of our major clients, EIACI and ESMO. Let me start with EIACI, the European Academy for Allergy and Clinical Immunology, with whom we have been partnered since 2014. The EIACI Congress is an annual congress with around 8,000 international participants that is rotating through various European destinations. Their 2020 Congress was supposed to be held in London, UK in June 2020. So when the COVID pandemic hit Europe earlier that year, there wasn't much time to make a decision as to what should happen with the Congress that was coming up just a few months later. It took EIACI only 38 days to make that decision, and they decided not to speculate on possibly holding the Congress at a later point that same year, but instead to directly go fully virtual, which in the end proved to be the right decision, given the ongoing COVID situation, which many did not think would last that long. The hotels in London also recognized the situation and canceled all room blocks at no cost and fully refunded any deposit payments. The EIACI Congress 2021 was originally scheduled for Madrid, Spain. However, EIACI was still cautious as to whether the situation would improve for 2021 and already decided in summer of 2020 to change the format of their 2021 Congress. They limited the number of face-to-face participants to 1,000 and decided to combine this with virtual components for a hybrid event. Based on a smaller number of participants, a new destination and smaller venue were chosen so that the Congress was moved to Krakow, Poland. They decided to profit from the work already done by the Spanish organizing committee and teamed them up with a Polish organizing committee. EIACI was thus able to create a unique hybrid experience with lots of local flavor from two different countries. Moving the Congress to a smaller venue helped them to reduce costs during the pandemic and getting through this difficult period relatively unharmed. In addition, they did not have to change any of the destinations already chosen past 2021 and were able to have a fresh start for 2022. Our next example is ESMO, the European Society for Medical Oncology. They are organizing one of the largest medical congresses in Europe, with up to 30,000 international participants and a rotation through European destinations. We have been responsible for their hotel accommodation for some of the annual congresses since 2018. The ESMO Congress 2021 was scheduled to be in Paris, France, in September that year. After their 2020 Congress was already converted to a virtual format, we were certainly hoping that the ESMO Congress 2021 would be possible as a full face-to-face event. However, the situation was certainly unclear whether such a large Congress would be possible in 2021. Industry confidence was high, as was shown in the large number of bookings we received even during the COVID pandemic. However, as the block value and thus the financial impact for such a large Congress is around 15 million euro, it was important to monitor the situation closely. Key for the decision of how to move forward was a close and transparent communication with our client, ESMO. ESMO did fully understand the financial impact for everyone, so they did involve all stakeholders such as PCO, hotels, venue, and convention bureau to find the best possible solution for everyone. An internal deadline was defined as to when a final decision would have to be made regarding the format of the 2021 Congress. This was openly communicated to the hotels and helped us to find an amicable solution for postponing earlier cancellation dates accordingly in order to accommodate this deadline. In the end, the decision needed to be made that it was not going to be possible to hold a 30,000 participants face-to-face meeting in 2021, and the Congress was converted to a virtual format. However, ESMO is showing their commitment to the stakeholders in Paris by returning with the ESMO Congress 2022 to the same destination. This way, we were able to cancel all hotel accommodations at no cost, and were able to refund deposits to our participants or transfer them to their 2022 room block upon their request. Going back to Paris also allows for an easy transfer of hotel accommodations from one year to the next. And of course, the stakeholders in Paris can benefit from the Congress coming back to their destination in the following year. These were just two short examples with different approaches. They were both successful in terms of hotel accommodation, despite the difficult situation during this corona pandemic. Both cases show how important it is to work closely together with all stakeholders involved, such as the client, convention bureau, venue, hotels, PCO, and of course the participants. Communication and understanding the consequences for all parties involved is proving to be the key in such difficult situations.
Thank you, Kirstine. That was very interesting. As I mentioned, I would suggest we come together at the end for some question and answers. So we would proceed to the next speaker, which is Jörg Kleffmann. Jörg is account manager MICE for Hilton Worldwide Sales. Jörg has hospitality in his DNA. His parents gave him the passion to think positive, connect with clients and customers, and which really brought him to the hospitality world and to Hilton. Yes, so I think this, as we just heard, is something that is very key to connect and to be open to discussions with customers and clients. So Jörg, we're very interested to hear about how Hilton, as a large major chain, dealt with the pandemic situation.
Warm welcome to Hilton Worldwide News. My name is Jörg Kleffmann and I'm your point of contact by Hilton Worldwide Sales. In my role as account manager MICE, I'm taking care of association and congress business worldwide. I'm very honored to join today the webinar Risk Management, managed by KIT Group GmbH, a very strong and loyal partner of Hilton Worldwide Sales since many years. We are pleased to take the opportunity to share with you the latest news from Hilton Worldwide. Add to that, I'm thrilled to update you on our Hilton hotels in St. Petersburg, the Hilton St. Petersburg EXPOFORUM and the Hampton by Hilton St. Petersburg EXPOFORUM. So now let's get started. And again, a warm welcome to the Hilton Worldwide News. What we will cover today, I will give you an update on our global campaigns Travel with Purpose and Event Ready with Clean Stay. And then I'll update you on the Hilton hotels in St. Petersburg, the Hilton and the Hampton by Hilton St. Petersburg EXPOFORUM. Travel with Purpose is Hilton's environmental, social and governance strategy to identify sustainable travel. Hilton have committed to double our investments in social impact and to cut our environmental footprint in half by 2030. Our goals really focus on our impact in our hotel operations, in our communities, and in our supply chain. As identified on this slide, our 2030 goals included the reduced our carbon emission by 61%, putting that figure in context like taking 23 million cars off our roads, reduce our water usage in our global operations by 50%, equivalent is to up to 6,000 Olympic swimming pools of water. Amazing. reduce our waste of 50%, including reducing our food waste by 50%, with our hotel participating in food donation programs where legally allowable. Send zero soap to landfill by recycling all used gas soap bars where available. Believe it or not, we are the first in the industry to make this commitment, and to date, unbelievable, we have already distributed more than 6 million bar of recycled soap. Double our local sourcing to sustainable source all meat, poultry, produce, seafood, and cotton. Double investment in young opportunity programs. To date, we have connected, prepared, and finally employed up to more than 800,000 young people. And finally, last but not least, where I'm also very pleased to be part of it, we volunteer more than 10 million team member hours in our local communities. So overall, some inspiring goals, and all of our progress on these goals is managed by our Lightstay platform. For more information, please get in touch with me. Thank you. So for more than 101 years, in 100+ countries with 18 brands, and finally up to more than 6,300 Hilton hotels, we have believed in the power of in-person connections and have served as leaders in meetings and event industry. So with Hilton CleanStay, we understand that our guest expectations for hotel cleaning and disinfection have changed. That's why we have taken additional measures beyond our industry-leading cleaning standards by partnering with RB, the maker of Lysol and Dettol, to develop our Hilton CleanStay program. Event planners have been asking us for innovative solutions for the entire event experience, from flexibility in planning and physical distancing protocols to transparency in cleanliness policies. To address these requests and to establish some safe group travel practices, we have launched a global cleanliness and client service program specific to meetings and events called Hilton Event Ready with CleanStay, as the next phase of the Hilton CleanStay program. And here I would like to highlight 4 pillars to you. So our CleanStay standards means we elevated the procedures of cleanliness and sanitization, completed event-ready room checklist, the Hilton CleanStay room seal, as you can see on the left-hand side. With more flexible of your planned conference and events, we offer you transparency partnerships, flexible pricing, space options and contract terms, Hilton Event Ready Playbook for expert guidance of hybrid meetings, creative networking, transportation, logistic, and communication resources. We help you with our safe and social responsible to creative, customized event sets, inclusive distance guidelines, inspiring food and beverage menus, and environmental impact solutions. And last but not least, with Hilton Event Ready Hybrid Solutions, we give you finally a hand to feature an expansive portfolio of hotels, offer necessary band-wide capability, and at all times trained Hilton team members to support you. For more information, you will see get more information on the Hilton Event Ready Playbook and Hilton Event Ready Hybrid Solution. So now, let's come to the Hilton hotels in St. Petersburg. So we have, as I already mentioned, 2 Hilton hotels in St. Petersburg. The first is the Hilton St. Petersburg EXPOFORUM, just steps away from the EXPOFORUM in St. Petersburg. Our hotel is part of the EXPOFORUM ground and one of the largest exposition centers in the world, and just 7 kilometers from Bukovo Airport away. We offer you in the hotel a variety of F&B outlets, and one is the Grill, our elegant and contemporary restaurant who's serving international dishes with local flavors. The Light Bar offers you drinks and small plates, and finally at the park, where we serve our daily Hilton breakfast, we have a seated capacity of 170 people, inclusive the terrace. When we think about meeting and events, our flexible event space includes 7 meeting room areas, a boardroom and a ballroom. So a capacity from the ballroom has more than 450, so up to 460 square meters. And with that inclusive, also a good number of guest rooms to offer you, up to 234 guest rooms. So 7 meeting rooms plus the ballroom in total. Then. Our second hotel, the Hampton by Hilton St. Petersburg Expo Forum, is just next door to the Hilton St. Petersburg Expo Forum, so also part of the Expo Forum Convention and Exhibition Center. We offer you here 207 guest rooms, and with that also a meeting room of 75 square meters. Restaurant has a seat capacity, so the main restaurant with 120 seats, and the complimentary hot breakfast is served at the Hampton. So when we talk about eat, meet and sleep at both hotels, we can offer you a good meeting size for 400 people. And we only think about an eat, meet request, always depends on the requirements from you. We can talk about up to 1,000 people. So our commitment to you is our initiative. It might travel looks a little bit different right now, but our priorities remain the same. We are still committed to providing you a safe and relaxing hotel stay at all our hotels around the world. That commitment starts with looking at our services and processes to take steps to deliver the safest and most enjoyable experience possible. Supporting our communities. Throughout the 101-year history, Hilton has provided hospitality and support to communities in need. The COVID-19 outbreak is no exception. Our hotels around the world continue to amaze us with their local stories of light and warmth at that time. So we can say, one team. That's from my side. Thank you very much for your interest, and I'm happy to support you by any future activities in St. Petersburg together with our strong and loyal partner KIT, and of course the cluster of the Hilton Hotels, St. Petersburg. Thank you very much. Stay safe and healthy at all times. Take good care.
Thank you very much, Jörg. That was very interesting, and I look forward to speaking about further things later on. Next up is Angela Lyubimova. Angela is head of the Congress Department at EXPOFORUM International. She has been with the company since 2013. EXPOFORUM International is a local PCO and DMC, and is also the official operator of the Convention and Exhibition Center, EXPOFORUM. Angela is an expert in building international relations and helps drive the International Congress and Association business to the city of St. Petersburg. Angela will talk about how EXPOFORUM International quickly reacted to the pandemic and limited risk. She has brought some best practice examples with her to highlight this, and I look forward to hearing about this.
Hello, dear colleagues. Let's start with the EXPOFORUM International Crisis Management Strategy. So, EXPOFORUM International is, first of all, one of the leading companies on the Russian conventions and exhibitions market. We provide an entire range of related services in accordance with international standards for more than 50 years. Initial entity was established back in 1963, and therefore transformation led to two main businesses objectives: venue management and PCO and DMC services. Therefore, our mission is enabling all of the key stakeholders of the meeting and exhibition industry to fulfill their potential on national and international level. So first of all, organizers will be able to expand their business objectives and trade show potential. Secondly, associations will have a professional environment for its scientific, educational, technological, and practical development. Then local residents will have more opportunities to grow their competencies while attending business events and support multicultural blossoming. And then strategic activities and collaboration with governmental projects, especially with St. Petersburg CVB, will make it more effective in terms of business tourism advancement, securing a significant share of the global event market. for St. Petersburg economy and infrastructure. For instance, the company's efforts resulted in the design of transportation system at a site spanning about 500 hectares located near to the venue. The company manages EXPOFORUM Convention Exhibition Center, and venue annually hosts approximately more than 200 events of different formats, attended by more than 12 million people since it was launched. Today, the company's portfolio includes more than 40 own projects in different industries, such as gas and energy, economics and finance, technology, medicine, agriculture, education, research, and etc. And with EXPOFORUM holds about 6% of the market of dedicated event venues in money terms, and over 10% of the rented space market. At this slide, you can see back in 2019, our business was blossoming with hundreds of projects and millions of happy visitors and dedicated delegates. After 16 March 2020 marked our history of the most devastating days, seeing the venue empty. Hopefully our team was able to bring back life to EXPOFORUM in a very short term, with a lot of changes, restrictions, and strength for facing the global crisis together with our partners and clients. Following our deliberation, a revised risk management evaluation was launched based on 4 key elements, as we perfectly understand, for being relevant. Our strategy should be ahead of the curve, anticipate for potential problems that may emerge, and address challenging new issues on the national and international agenda. We also stressed the need for a multidisciplinary approach in elaborating the business with a new master plan that will help to build dedication, capacity, and strengthen capability for the repeat implementation of priority actions and ensure effective risk communication with market stakeholders. So therefore, we were one of the first in Russia in the post-pandemic era holding business events. And first of all, we had to work out together with the federal agency Rospotrebnadzor and approve the government of St. Petersburg the appropriate safety standards and regulations. And in July 2020, we re-kit the EXPOFORUM Convention Exhibition Center according to the new requirements. Thanks to this, from August 2020 and to June 2021, more than 80 events were held, which were attended by 700,000 people, and we have not received a single complaint or fine from Rospotrebnadzor during this time. And these events were national, international, so both. And going to work in the virtual spaces allowed us to develop 3 new areas. Defining the service policy, we focus on advertising and marketing support of clients. We develop social media campaigns, virtual client sessions, and press conferences. And then, for keeping the track of business environment, we launched a TV studio and produced more than 150 interviews with experts, online postcards, virtual and hybrid events with our clients and partners. Our anti-crisis team, consisting of the heads of all departments of EXPOFORUM International and its subsidiaries, launched an anti-crisis strategy plan, budget, training programs for all other employees, regulations, equipment, software, and communication system for the online office. We managed to optimize our expenses by adjusting our financial policy, minimal production, maintenance, and online office, including in terms of obtaining additional governmental subsidies, agreeing to reduce tax and tax holidays. Our cancellation policy was providing opportunities for investing customer funds and redistributing the payment procedure. We have a minimum percentage of cancelled events. Basically, either projects are organized online or postponed to subsequent years. We have been building strong partnership strategy that allowed us to become a part of leading industry communities on national and international levels, such as Russian CB, Russian Union Exhibitions and Fairs, APC, ICA, UFI, and SCOL International. We are actively collaborating with CVB in terms of ambassador program, researching for Russian leading professionals, bidding, organizing site visits with support from St. Petersburg CVB, and, for example, industry events like current online seminar. And advancement and recognition of Russian association market is one of the main goals for us. And Russia has a big potential to offer to the world. Therefore, together with professional communities, we build strategic programs for their professional development in terms of meetings in industry projects. One of our initiatives related to promoting visa simplification processes was for delegates negotiating with authorities. Pilot projects for e-visa to St. Petersburg was launched in October 2019. It was a huge success. To starting from 2021, e-visa covers the whole Russia. Our support significantly reduced Congress expenses and saved delegate time. For example, special delegate visa for ICM, International Congress of Mathematicians 2022. One of advantages we offer to clients and partners in a single window system, offer communication for simplifying interaction and saving time, so our team delivers necessary context and solutions guiding through the Russian market. So at this slide, you can see our situation and damage at the beginning of a crisis. So it's up to 40% income reduction into upcoming years, up to 50% of business activities lost, and up to 80% of business projects frozen. And here are the results of our master plan, and we are still on the way to full financial recovery, but obviously our business activities are going through its renaissance. So about our recovery plans. All staff members passed the PCR test organized vaccination campaign, and we will encourage our employees to get vaccinated. Those who provide the certificate of vaccination will receive some days off. And nowadays, the collective immunity of EXPOFORUM group of companies have amounted to 75%. And EXPOFORUM International has accumulated a huge and invaluable experience in holding various events in new conditions. Due to our efforts, EXPOFORUM was granted the status of a strategic company of St. Petersburg and Russia in 2020. And these initiatives and solutions are not only crucial for regional economy, but it is an impact of national level, as St. Petersburg is a professional business hub, gateway to Russian trade, tourism and communications, as well as bidding activities for supporting networking, cross-industry dialogue, and discovering new opportunities and partnerships. Our venue booked until 2028 with more than 10 international association meetings, 20 exhibitions, and 30 national conferences. And our team taking a proactive approach in bringing business, acknowledging its essential role in developing dialogue with existing and new clients, especially at hard times of uncertainty we are all facing now. Transformation we are going through give us new tools for hosting events, but face-to-face contact is an element of our industry. And we would like to deliver a message of a recently launched marketing campaign, business meetings and exhibitions, a safe environment. We've all taken precautions and safety measures. It is possible to drive the spirit of business community and welcome all at our multifunctional and multicultural hub. KT Group is one of our key industry partners and sharing idea of building bridges and strengthening businesses' potential. We organized a pilot project of an educational program gathering 10 international associations, executive in St. Petersburg from 9 to 11 October 2019, organized a business forum with St. Petersburg CVB, local counterparts and partners, completed with some site inspections, cultural and social program. They are planning next educational programs for the end of 2021 and would be happy to welcome more associations. So thank you very much for your attention, and please feel free to ask some questions. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Angela. That was a very interesting presentation. Before we start into the discussion, and I can see there are already some questions in the chat, which is fantastic. You just mentioned the educational program that we organized in 2019. And just to round this presentation format off, we would like to show you a quick video of the 2019 trip, and then we are available for questions and answers.
Just see this amazing convention center here. This is absolutely architectural. It's a highlight. It's a milestone, and it's absolutely perfect.
My first impression here with the EXPOFORUM, it's a huge venue that obviously can hold very different kinds of meetings. Looks very promising, and it's very close to the airport.
I love it. It's absolutely amazing. I'm really, really impressed with it from what I've seen so far, yeah.
The convention center, I also see it very convenient because it's flat and very easy to know where you are.
The building is new, all the electronics, IT.
The Russian scientists, they have to connect themselves with the European associations or with the worldwide association and just say, okay, we are from Russia and we want also to have the next conventions, maybe if it is in 5 years, having in St. Petersburg or Moscow or wherever. The Russian scientists have to play a more active role within the society.
So I can fit my executive committee in, I can put my council into it. So everything is in one place, so it's a one-stop shop in a way, which is very nice.
A very beautiful city, I must say, a lot of cultural points and points of interest to see. First of all, I must say I'm very honored to be part of this program, being in a very distinguished group. So far I can only say good things. The information prior to arriving was very clear.
I'm actually thrilled to be here. Thank you again for being here.
I find it very easy, very similar when you get US ESTA or your Canadian ESTA to even more, I would say faster. And I received the confirmation within 28 hours, I would say, so it was very, very fast.
Colleagues are very thrilled about the possibility to organize a convention here, and we have actually 2 associations who are quite interested in doing the next convention and the next rotating conference here in St. Petersburg. Yeah.
Well, thank you, everyone. And as mentioned by Angela, we are planning the next educational program trip this year. So if there is any interest, please feel free to contact us about that one. So I would like to now open the discussion and ask our speakers to join me. We have some questions in the chat I would direct to you in a minute. But first of all, I would like to start by asking you, Kirstine. Those were some very impressive figures you mentioned there. And I think a lot of people are not aware of the financial impact such larger conferences can have. I mean, you were talking about 15 million just on a accommodation side. I mean, all the exhibition space, the venue costs, everything is on top of that. So I can imagine that this was quite a tough decision to take, especially for ESMO. Can you give us a little bit of highlights there? How long was this decision process? When did they really decide not to be in a live, present, face-to-face format?
Yes, thank you very much. The ESMO Congress 2021, we were already actually thinking about it in the summer of 2020 when that year's Congress was going virtual. So there were already thoughts about what would happen to the 2021 Congress. And then we did discuss with ESMO, with the Convention Bureau and other stakeholders, and decided that we have to set basically a point of no return decision date, where a decision had to be made which way we will eventually go. Obviously, it was ESMO's goal to have a live on-site event, but as things were developing through the winter of 2020, early 2021, it did look more towards in the direction that it would not be possible to hold like a 30,000 participant live event. So we did set a final decision date, which was set to the end of March, which is approximately 6 months prior to the actual Congress dates. And we did coordinate with hotels and the venues to push certain cancellation dates, option dates to that date as well. So in close communication with ESMO and all stakeholders, a date was set, and the decision was eventually made so that the financial impact on each stakeholder's side was calculable. Yeah.
And do you think it would have been a different situation if you would have had less lead time?
Oh yeah, well, it would have been a more difficult situation, certainly. This way we were able to prepare the hotels that the possibility was going to come. They did have enough time to look for other business opportunities to fill the gap that we were leaving. And so it certainly helped having enough time to prepare. It made it less stressful. Okay. That's for sure.
And there's a question in the chat, and I think this can be directed to your experience, but also definitely towards Jörg Kleffmann, is wait a second, it would be interesting to have more flexible conditions on cancellation and or postponement. And the question is more, are hotels and congress centers more flexible after the COVID-19 situation?
Well, I can mostly speak for hotels now, and we have seen, like what I've mentioned in my presentation earlier about that ESMO has chosen to go back to Paris in 2022. We certainly did see more flexibility from the hotel side in terms of contract conditions and setting certain dates. So I think we all learned from our experience and are bringing in, new ideas also to hotel contracts, how this can work, how cooperating with the hotels can work, always keeping in mind that there are both sides, two contract partners, and we want to make it right for everyone. So we do see more flexibility, definitely, yes.
Can you add on that, Jörg, maybe as well?
I would love to, because as Kirsten already said, we are partners, and the pandemic came for all of us, and we of course was looking, especially when we take ESMO as an example for Paris, to find a way to survive on both sides and to find the best way for both sides. And I was very happy and very pleased and also very confident in the way to talk to our hotels and with our partner KIT to find a way who works for both sides, and of course then for the Congress Center, because that is what we always have also to keep in mind. that it fits then for the next or for the new date, which was very good to hear from you guys then, from Kirsten and her team. It comes directly the year after, where we said, okay, we can work on that. It's not like cancel and yeah, let's see. It was, we have to cancel, we have to move it, and we would love to come back as soon as we can. And that's the date for what we are working for. So that was on the end, also for the hotels, a good word to say, we have to park it for a moment, this piece of business, but it will definitely come back, and it will come to the hotels where we're already contracted for 2021. So in that case, it works very well. Thank you.
Yes, I think it's also something that I think it's just there's a lot more awareness of how important some contract conditions are, and societies, associations, large clients are a lot more aware that certain things have to be in place. And I think there's also a factor of competition, and that's also something that has an impact now on the flexibility. I think everyone is more or less forced to show a little bit more flexibility on all sides, as everyone has been really affected by this. So it really is, as we mentioned in the presentations before, it really is down to communication and talking to each other and finding something that every party can live with. I would also, it's the same question, time related also, I have a question for you, Jörg. So very impressive also the turnaround time for such a program as Event Ready or Clean Stay. I can imagine that for such a large chain also as Hilton, it's not easy to implement this on a global level at the same quality level as well. So how was your experience there? How was this possible, such a challenge in such a small lead time?
Thank you very much, Maren. Great question. Yeah, our commitment in 2020 was more than ever partnering with customers to deliver and to elevated standards for events across the attendee journey. So really focusing on clean stay standards, flexible, and also safe and social responsible. So then we decided, when we listened in March 20, so last year, a global survey where we heard that more than 71 consumers said that they clean more than often their flats, so their areas where they're working, where they're living. And then we start our own survey on that to ask our customers to share with us the feedback and what they are thinking when they're just coming back from their trips and where they stayed in our hotels. And 3 out of 4 measures here was that it makes them feel safer as a guest if they refer and if they can see that we do an additional cleaning of the guest rooms, of the meeting areas, of the F&B outlets, etc. So in the hotel. And that was then for us the mission to step or to move forward, and being also the first company to develop a holistic cleaning and disinfection program to develop a reliable experts in health and hygiene. And here we understand the expectations from the client side that we was taking more focus on the cleaning standards and find the right partner. And we find the right partner in RB, the maker of Lysol and Dettol, so to develop our then new announced Clean Stay program, so Hilton Clean Stay program. It's really an innovative program to show our guests and to give them and enjoy a very free stay at all time. If it's on leisure, if it's on business, if it's just a short meet and greet, so at all time. And with that, we were very pleased to roll out this program, so Hilton Clean Stay program, by end of April last year. And in that, then the following weeks, we was automatically thinking about the second level. So the next step, where we was thinking, what can we do for the event planners? Because they asked us for innovation solutions for the entire event experiences, from flexibility in planning, physical distancing for protocols, and finally also the transparency in cleanliness policies. And to address and to make sure that we have this safe practice for group travelers in place, we launched then mid of July last year the program specific for meetings and events called Hilton Event Ready with Clean Stay, as the next phase of the Clean Stay program, where we started with them in March. last year. So on the end, we identified really 10 high touch points or deep clean areas where we're focusing the guest and meeting rooms to make sure that at all time the clients feel comfortable and feel safe.
Okay, thank you. So there was a question in the chat related to the Hilton St. Petersburg asking if there is a green room and high-speed internet, which your colleague Christina has already answered and confirmed. And I know that you also offered the possibility of a virtual site inspection. So anyone interested in that, please feel free to contact us as well. One last question on the you mentioned in your presentation the ideal Eat, Meet, Sleep program for the Hampton by Hilton and also the Hilton St. Petersburg. Ideally, for how many people would that be an option?
Thank you very much, Maren, for the question. It is really ideal for 400 people. So really in the combination, splitting of the guest room on both hotels, then is giving us the choice for focusing the meeting part at the Hilton St. Petersburg EXPOFORUM, and of course then the F&B part to make sure that we can serve the best standard what we can offer, because we have a variety of restaurants in the hotel, including then also too. So 400 is the ideal size, 400 people.
Okay, great, thank you.
Thank you.
So maybe a question in our direction, Angela, I can also maybe give some feedback here. We have a question of, is it simple to convert an offline conference to an online one? What about the costs with the suppliers? Does it make sense for some associations to do so? And I guess that it implies different staff qualifications. I can definitely comment on this, but maybe you would like to go first.
Thank you, Marine. Yes, actually, I can say that, of course, it is not the easy process how to organize online or offline event. And first of all, I would like to say that sometimes it takes the same costs for offline or online. So, of course, there are a lot of costs for hotels, for transports, for suppliers, but by the part of technical equipment, of course, they use more technical equipment, and sometimes the cost can be the same. But of course, we are simple. Of course, I'm talking about part of our venue and about from a part of our venues of St. Petersburg, I can say. And of course, we are flexible with our relations with our partners and associations, because we understand this pressure and all this pandemic situation. And of course, we try to find this kind of consensus how to fulfill the budget of our association and client, and how to make the best of the options of online event. So, Marine, I give you floor as well, as you would like to add something.
Yes, I think it's a very interesting question, because of course it's not easy. We saw in the example of Iaki, who actually converted their conference in 38 days, and it was a marathon. It was a huge challenge, especially at the time. Also looking at the qualifications, I think it was a learning curve for all of us the past year, and I don't think anyone can say that they were the absolute professional in online meetings when this started out. Today is a different situation. We've all gathered our experience, and especially our teams have gone really extra miles to expand their qualifications into the virtual world. So starting off, I would definitely say it was quite a step. Also on the income side, I mean, we're also, an association for their conference or any educational format, this needs to be financed in some kind of way. And the willingness for a participant to pay for online educational experience is different to a 3-day, full-day face-to-face conference. And it's the same for the industry partners. No exhibition in a virtual world can compensate for an exhibition in 2 or 3 different halls in a conference center. So there's a lot of things to take into account here. And our experience is that, especially when it comes to an educational format such as a conference, that everyone, including industry partners, participants, they want to return to a face-to-face format. However, to answer the question is, can it make sense for some associations? Yes, if they are a smaller size, or to keep contact on a smaller form, maybe to have monthly webinars on specific topics. It definitely makes sense to reach a broader audience of participants. But in our experience, it does not replace the face-to-face experience, and our clients and the people that we are speaking to are very eager to return to this kind of format. I have another question related to that, Angela, maybe for you. I read in the press that the initial entity of the EXPOFORUM International, the LEN Expo, was the very first exhibition and convention center in Russia, and that was transformed into a COVID-19 hospital during this time. And if I have this correctly, it will remain so for now as well. So how was your experience with that? Were you involved there? And yeah, what was your experience?
Okay, thank you very much for this question, Noreen, because yes, it's true. And in St. Petersburg, before the time, we had two big congress centers. It was LEN Expo. It was built in 60s, so it was big, but it was quite, I wouldn't say it was quite old. It was located in the center, and of course it wasn't the same modern as EXPOFORUM, which was like built just some years ago. And of course these two congress centers were like the heart of a congress life in St. Petersburg. And yes, then the situation in St. Petersburg and in Russia became dramatic. They decided as an operator with our stakeholders and with St. Petersburg authorities to rebuild the LEN Expo for the hospital. Of course, I know that this experience was actually everywhere in our world, from England and to other Europe countries. And yes, actually, it was re-equipped for the hospital with more than 1,000 places. And it depended, let's say, from the month of the statistics, how many cases of COVID we have. Because of course we have enough hospitals, like normal hospitals, but in the time of the first wave, like in March, and then during the summer and in autumn, the situation became that they had to use this LEN Expo as a hospital. Then actually it was, again, it was like closed, but of course we could expect the new wave of COVID. So that is why actually right now the hospital is again reopened. So we have like the same level as we had like before, maybe a little bit more. Just the same as we have everywhere. And yes, we understand that in this case, they see that the Expo will stay for these measures for longer. But at the same time, I like exactly what I experienced, that EXPOFORUM as EXPOFORUM and Congress and Exhibition venue, we reinforced all our resources to organize here the better events and more events even that we had before, because like before that we had two venues and now we have one venue, and we had to make all our security and all our safety restrictions so well organized. And that is why what we experience now, we see the situation, because we see in future, for example, just like in very, very future in 2020, like in 2022, we have a lot of events. We are fully booked and we have international events. So they see that we have to do our best to keep our Congress Center on the highest level for organizing and hosting events. So yes, we got this experience, and be honest, I can tell it by the part of EXPOFORUM, we are really proud that we could actually help our system and our city in very dramatic moment in very, very beginning of all the pandemic. So yes, this is a little bit about our experience of the Expo. So yes.
Yeah, very interesting. Thank you. And you answered one of my second questions as well, because I was about to ask, how does the outlook for 2022 look like? And if you say that you are fully booked, then that's great news. So St. Petersburg is already returning in 2022. Great.
Actually, we are looking for our bright future, and we hope to have all the congresses that we are planning to see offline. For example, the International Congress of Mathematicians, World Energy Congress. And yes, some of the congresses were postponed for the further years, but for exactly these two events, for now it is offline. Of course, maybe they became more hybrid and online, but let's see. But for now, and even looking for a situation for now, because just like a few days ago, we finished the hosting of Euro 2020 in St. Petersburg. So they see the situation became better and better every day, and they see more opening borders and more and more efforts to make the safe and travel process easy and more safe and safe. Sorry for saying it again, but it's our main priority, and I can understand when you can support us as well, because it's all what we're looking and working on every day. So thank you, Marine, again.
And we have one very, very interesting question from the chat as well, asking to us all, what is shaping the future of the hospitality industry? Who would like to go first on that one? Yeah.
What is shaping the future of the
hospitality industry?
I hope the future is that it will continue to exist and will thrive again as it has prior to the pandemics. So I think people want to travel. I mean, we've just mentioned it, want to travel for business, want to travel for their holidays. So I'm in no doubt that the hospitality industry will thrive again. Hotels are adjusting to the new normal, basically, that exists now, and congresses will continue to happen. So I see a good future for all of us. I hope so.
I will fully agree on that, and especially thanks to this question is the combination of travel or the combination of a meeting and the combination of a small, from a board meeting side to a regular conference up to a congress. I think the mix of it will make it more interesting for people in the near future. But I think the first tube is power is to come back to live events, come back to live presentation, meetings, meeting people in a lobby, having a good time, joining an event, of course, with all the restrictions. And I think this is also an opportunity for all of us to take these restrictions with us at all time, and to give it more like in a terms and conditions way when we planning, contracting a piece of business, to make sure that at all time the clients, and not only the parties who are signing the contract, so like us, but also the participants, feeling safe, feeling healthy, feeling warm welcomed at all time. And with that, I'm pretty sure we come back to travel in another way, in a new world, let's say, in a new way. But what I learned from my parents when I grew up, when my mom and my dad always said, if you would like to have a good meal, and if you would like to stay in a hotel and having a good time, you have to go out. And you cannot have everything at home. And that is, I think, also a point where we can see now that the people are getting that more in their mind and to focus on their next trip, and of course to travel. So great question, thank you.
Yes, I just would like to say that actually I agree completely with my colleagues, and maybe one more element I would like to emphasize a little bit more, it's the desire to communicate personally. It's desire to speak, to talk, to have a good time. And actually it's, of course, we have meetings now, a lot of meetings online, and be honest, we are a little bit sometimes tired of it. Nothing can change and replace the feeling when you shake the hand of your colleague, of your partners. And this feeling, I would say, of course, it shapes us again, reshape us and all the industry again. And yes, we hope to be back again. So it's a great question, and actually it inspires us all to work more.
Yeah, I fully agree. And I think it's just looking at this topic, risk management as well. I think we all just have to be aware that communication and flexibility is really something that's going to be with us for some time, because I think nobody could have imagined the situation that we have been in the past 18 months. In last March, nobody could have imagined the impact of this whole situation. And I think that has led to a lot of people being very anxious. So I think it is really, and there's absolutely no doubt that people want to return to face-to-face experiences. And I just think that we just have to deal with a certain degree of anxiety with communication and flexibility, because people want to meet again. We just have to, and also linked to the question before, we have to be in a position to change a setup quite quickly, to be able to switch to a hybrid format. So we have to keep our knowledge and our staff's qualifications to a standard that we can switch to certain different settings very quickly, hoping that it will never be the case again in such a format. But I think flexibility, communication, and just openness is definitely shaping. Everyone wants to come back to face-to-face experiences, so that is definitely shaping the industry. Well, thank you, everyone. I actually have. Do you have any questions to each other? I have no more questions from my side, and I have no more questions in the chat. So, do you have any questions to each other, maybe, or does anybody want to comment on anything again?
I just wanted to say thank you for all of you. Sorry, Jörg. Yes, thank you so much for attending our webinar today, because this topic is really important, very interesting by different parts of our players of our market. So thank you so much for your attention, for your questions.
I would love to agree on that, of course, and also again, also for giving us the opportunity from the hotel side, giving a quick idea and update on what's coming up next, of what we are doing on the Hilton side, what we are standing for, what we are doing, being part of this presentation. And yeah, these little, maybe more than ever steps, but coming to a new way of travel, a new way of get connected, and finally then to meet us in person. So by the next event. So again, thank you very much.
Yeah, also thank you from my side, and looking forward to seeing everyone live and in person again.
Yes, well, and thank you to everyone from my side as well. Thank you also to EXPOFORUM, EXPOFORUM International, for our cooperation on this. And I think it was mentioned in all presentations how how important communication is and talking to each other. And I just hope that our next communication is in person again, but it's also nice to see that formats such as this can also bring us together and give us the possibility to exchange and communicate. So thank you all. Thank you all for being part of this. And we hope you have a great rest of the week. Thank you.